Guys, welcome to another WoW video, and for today's video I thought we would just go over some of the 9.0.5 patch stuff. This is a tiny patch, so don't mistake it with 9.1. There's no new content really in it, but I thought we'd go over it. It basically focuses class tuning. There's some PvP stuff. Some changes to Torghast, some rune carvings, legendary changes, and Covenant stuff. And yeah, the only real new thing would be Valor's coming back, and that's kind of a thing that used to exist that's returning, so it's kind of an old new thing. but we'll be going over that in this video. The intention of today's video is to give you all the info as speedy as possible, so it's not a long video. So there's going to be some sections you will see roll by really fast. Pause is your best friend in today's video, so if you see something you're interested in, just pause the video. I thought a great place to start with this video would be the class tuning. That's probably what most of you guys care about the most. And so here is a bunch of screenshotting. Feel free to find out where your class is throughout this list, and you can pause the video, read through it. There is a lot of changes. Now we will swap to rune carving stuff. So legendary changes for your classes. Okay, so still on the topic of class changes, let's check out the PvP changes. So again, screenshotted. Here is some of the changes. Also, there is some changes to Asheron and the Isle of Conquest, and also Wintergrasp. Okay, next up we have some changes to Torghast. There will now be a recommended item level. Don't mistake this with a requirement. It is not a requirement. You can pretty much go into Torghast whenever you want. But there is a recommended item level. If you're struggling, then it kind of tells you, well, maybe aim for this item level and maybe you'll do better. But keep in mind, even although they don't tell you this, keep in mind that Torghast is RNG. I've been in some where I've struggled and been kind of around that item level, and then I've been on some where technically I should have been 20 item levels higher when I had done it, and I wasn't, and I completed it with flying colors. So definitely RNG, but at least now you kind of have an idea, because no matter what, gear does matter. But one thing I've learned is to swap around your talents. Your talents are kind of what will screw you over in a Torghast run. And they've also reduced the amount of enemies on multiple floors. I don't know about that one. While, yeah, there's lots of enemies, they're there so you get Phantasma, right? So if we're reducing the amount of enemies, then are we kind of getting screwed at the end for not having as much to spend on anima powers? I don't know. Something isn't adding up with that one. But yeah, I guess we'll see. So here I've screenshotted some changes with the anima powers and some changes regarding your classes involving Torghast. Feel free to pause the video and check that out. And since we're talking about Torghast, we might as well go over the Maw stuff. Not too much changed as far as the Maw, but we do have the new account-wide unlock that's been added to Vanari that reveals teleport nodes. And they've also reduced the health and amount of Anima Devourers that are required for the stage 1 of the Winged Soul Eaters hunt. So for dungeons and raids, there's been some changes to Halls of Atonement, depths, Plaguefall. As far as Mythic Keystone dungeons, the formula for determining the level of the first Mythic Keystone players receive each week has been adjusted. Previously, players would always receive a Keystone 1 level below the highest they'd completed so far in Season 1, which is true. Usually if you did like a 10, you'd get a 9, so-and-so. After this change, Keystone level will continue to decrease by 1 per week until players again complete a higher level Keystone. For example, a player who completes a level 15 will receive a level 14 the following week. If they do not complete a 15 or higher that week, they will receive a level 13 the week after. Now, on the topic of Mythic Keystone dungeons, and while we are talking on this, I'm going to screenshot items and rewards for you guys. But there are some changes to how you're going to gear for the Mythic Keystones. So it says, gear acquired from Mythic Keystone dungeons are now upgradable with Valor, a new currency that is earned from completing Mythic Keystone dungeons and Covenant calls. The weekly Valor cap will start at 5,000 Valor, earnable in the first week, and will increase by 750 Valor each week. There will be a maximum of 1,500 Valor a character can hold at a time. Gear that dropped before the patch is unable to be upgraded. And that does include your Great Vault. So if you do a key this week, and on Tuesday, when reset happens and, this patch goes live, that gear that you get from that vault cannot be upgraded because it's any gear that you acquired before the patch. So the gear that's on you can't be upgraded. It has to be looted after the patch goes live. Also, if you complete a Mythic Keystone dungeon after the timer is ended, you now get a second item. The item level of the second item will be slightly lower. Also, there is this change here. The Great Vault used to be 3,710 and still is today if you're watching the video today. But on Tuesday, March 9th, it will change and it will be 3,609 now for your Great Vault raid loot requirements. Potency conduits are going to start dropping in Castle Nothria. Also, once a player reaches 40 renown with their Covenant, the weekly quest to gather 1,000 Anima will now award you 1,500 gold instead. Once players have recruited the maximum amount of souls for their Covenant, your weekly quest to get the souls gives you Anima instead. Also, we are going to have the Wandering Ancient mount. Sometime they say it will be available on the patch, but we don't know any info past that. So I don't know how it's going to be available, whether it shows up in your mail. It's still a bit of a mystery. Maybe a quest line. So the requirements for getting this mount is literally that you just have to have Shadowlands, and that's basically it. Honestly, this mount looks better than I thought it would. As a druid, I was a little skeptical with a tree mount, but it's looking better than I thought, and more importantly, it actually changes colors through seasons. Here's a screenshot of all the different colors. So I thought that was a really cool add-in. So yeah, I do think it is very cool. There's obviously been a lot of jokes of setting this mount on fire and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure it goes without saying, but just in case, inquiring minds are wondering, this mount won't be able to fly. It's going to be a ground mount. There's been some Covenant changes as well, so here's the changes screenshotted. Feel free to read through that. And there's also been some WoW Companion app fixes, and also some Adventurer changes. Okay, so that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed. This is everything that will be involved in the 9.0.5 patch, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.